All right, hello everybody. We are going to look at day 5 today, which is on double dot plots, days 5 and 6. So as we're waiting on more people to join, give them another minute or so before we get started. Just a reminder, you probably want to have your packet out, turn to day number 5. Hope you all have had a good weekend. There was some beautiful weather this weekend, especially Saturday. So hopefully you got outside and were able to enjoy it. And it's supposed to be another nice day today. So when you're done with this and done getting any work done, go outside and enjoy the nice weather. Make sure that you get outside before it starts raining tonight and tomorrow. Hopefully packet 3 is going well. Once again, as I've been saying, I'll continue to say this week, if you have any questions, reach out to me, email me, message me, ask me any questions. Same with any other teacher. And then as we go throughout this live video, if you're joining us live, if you have any questions about this lesson, type them into the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer them as we go through this lesson. This one shouldn't be too bad. I think you all will be able to get this one without too much trouble. But we're going to talk about double dot plots. So we talked about double box plots last Thursday. Double dot plots are very similar. So they are dot plots instead of box plots. They look a little different. And the way that we read them and use them is a little different as well. So first of all, I've got this is the dot plot for example 1. So each dot represents the number of times that this number is in the data set. So we've got 2 different data sets that we're focused on in this dot plot right here, for Jada and for Angel. So if we look at Jada's, at 6, there is 1 dot. So if we were to write this out, these numbers out, we can. There's just going to be 1 6. There's 2 7s. There's 4 8s. There's 2 9s, and then there is 1 10. And that number line will always be there at the bottom. For Angels, he's got 1 5, 1 7, 4 8s, 1 9, 1 10, and 2 11s. Okay, so with a double dot plot, we can actually list out the numbers in that data set, and then we can use that to find our measure of center. Now, hopefully you didn't see the answer that I have written there at the bottom, but think about it. If we're listing out these numbers from least to greatest, which measure of center or which average should we use? The mean, the median, or the mode? Well, if you think back to last week, the one where we listed from least to greatest and chose the number in the middle, that is the median. So for double dot plots, the measure of center or the average that we're going to use for this is the median. So the best thing to do with double dot plots is probably to list out that information like I did here. And then we can cross off and we can see which number or numbers are left in the middle. We find the median that way. Another question we are going to be asked is which one is more spread out. Now for double dot plots, we can just kind of do the eye test and see which one is more spread out, because this information is given to you on a number line, so you can see which one's closer together, which one is more spread out. One question that you might be asked, I think I forgot to mention this last week, which one does the data have, is there more consistency? The word consistent means that numbers are closer together. So consistent means they're close together. If it's not consistent, that means that they're spread out. So that might be a question. I think you're going to see that word on some of your practice problems. So consistent means close together. So if it's more, which one is more consistent, it's which ones are closer together. Okay, so that is just the information that you need. So we'll go ahead and look at example 1. So example 1 is given to us right here. I'll go ahead and keep this up for you. So the first question it asks you is which data is more spread out? Well, if you're looking at this, you see that Angels is more spread out than Jada's. One thing you can do to see, just to test to make sure if you can't tell by looking at it, you take the biggest number, subtract it from the smallest number. If you think back to last year in 6th grade, you probably did this. You found the range of the data set, the biggest minus the smallest. You find the range. So 11 minus 5 would be 6. For Jada, she's doing just 10 minus 6, which is 4. So Angel's is more spread out than Jada's. So which data set is more spread out? The first question, that would be Angel. Second question, which person has a higher average number of hours worked? So we're going to find the average. Remember, for this, the average would be the median. Okay, so to find the median, I've already listed out the numbers from least to greatest. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to do this left-handed. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to cross off to find the median. So I'm going to cross off the 6. I'm going to cross off the 10. I'm going to continue to do that until I reach the middle number. Now notice there are 2 numbers in the middle. 2 8s are left in the middle here. Okay, so remember what we can do is add those 2 numbers together and then divide by 2. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Also, if you just think about it, what number is in between 2 8s? It's just going to be 8. Okay, so the median for Jada is 8. Angel's probably going to be very similar to that. If we start to cross off from the top to the bottom, notice that we have 2 numbers left. They are both 8 as well. So the median for Angels is also going to be 8. So which one has the higher average? Well, for this one, we would probably say that they're both the same. So that's where we don't want to just do an eye test and look at what the average is. We want to actually list this out and see, okay, which one do we end up with in the middle? Which one's the median? In this case, both have a median of 8. And so we're going to say they're both the same. They both have the same average, even though Angel's is more spread out than Jada's. Okay, so that is example number 1. For example number 2, here is the dot plot right there. Okay, so that dot plot shows the number, I think, of emails in inboxes for Pedro and Anika. Okay, so looking at that dot plot, it says who typically has more emails in their inbox. Well, if you look at that, Pedro has more dots that are higher up on the number line than Anika. So I'm going to try and do this. So if you notice, Pedro has a lot of his dots in the upper 30s. Anika's are way back here. Okay, so Pedro typically has more emails. It might not be always. He might not always have more emails in his inbox, but typically he's got more emails in his inbox than Anika does. Okay, so then the second question is which data is more spread out? So if you look at that, notice that Pedro's are all right here. Anika's are a lot more spread out. And in fact, if you find the range, Anika's span over 8 different numbers and Pedro's just spans over 5. Okay, so whose is more spread out? We would say Anika's has data that is more spread out. So we just look at, for this one who typically has more, it'd be Pedro. Which one's more spread out, it'd be Anika. If it asked us to find the average for this one, what we would do is we would list out all of these numbers, and then we would do the same thing that we just did, cross off the highest and the lowest till we got to a middle number or a middle 2 numbers, and we would find the median for that. Okay, so that is double dot plots. Like I said, I didn't think it was going to be that bad, and hopefully it's not. As you go through the practice questions that are for day 6, if you have any questions, once again, reach out to me, and you can ask any questions you might have. We are going to do our next YouTube Live on Wednesday of this week at 11 a.m. Once again, we're going to be looking at biased and unbiased samples. That one may be a tougher lesson, so you might definitely want to tune in for that one live if you can and ask any questions you might have. But that will be, once again, Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. We're getting close to the end of Packet 3, which means we're getting close to the end of the school year as well. So one last thing for those who are still tuned in and listening that I just want to mention, this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. I know we're not at school, and you can't really see your teachers right now. But one thing I want just to reach out and encourage all students to do. Teachers miss our students. We really do miss you guys. And so if you can, if there's a way that you can somehow get into contact with a teacher, whether it's a teacher you have this year or a teacher that you had last year or in years past, if you can somehow reach out to them and just tell them thank you. Tell them thank you for what they do. There's some amazing teachers, especially in our community of Speedway. So if there's any way you can get into contact with a teacher, just say thank you. Because I can guarantee you, teachers all over the world, the one thing they want more than anything is to hear from their students right now. And that would make their day, it would make their weeks. And so during this Teacher Appreciation Week, see what you can do to say thank you to a teacher who's meant a lot to you and who's impacted your life. But thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this helped, and I will see you all Wednesday morning at 11 a.m.